Very good morning, students. In today's class, we will see some numerical problems based on class D commutation, that is voltage commutation. So till now, we have covered all types of commutation techniques, class A, class B, class C and class D. And also we have do the numerical problem related to these techniques, that is class A, B and C. Now we'll see the numerical problems on class D commutation, which we have covered in the our previous lectures. So we solve numerical problems related to class D commutation. So see this numerical problem. For the circuit shown below regarding to class D commutation, having Vs equals to 230 volt, L equals to 20 microhenry, C is equals to 40 microfarad. For a constant load current of 120 amperes, calculate first part peak value of current through capacitance and also through the main and auxiliary thyristors. Circuit turn off time for main and auxiliary thyristors. So the circuit as given in the problem, it consists of main thyristor Tm and auxiliary thyristor Ta, and that is a capacitor with polarity plus minus Vc. This is input voltage is Vc, that is a DC1, and this is the inductor and diode is there. And output side I naught current is flowing. So what the parameters given in the problem? Vs equals to 230 volt, L equals to 20 microhenry, C is equals to 40 microfarad, and I naught which is 120 ampere constant load current. Why constant load current? Because we assume highly inductive load in the this configuration. So first part we have solved peak value of current through the capacitance and main and auxiliary thyristors. So if we want to calculate the peak value of current, so when this peak value of current through the capacitor, see peak value of current by this capacitor. So capacitor supply current like this. So IC as denoted in the diagram by arrow. So when main thyristor will be on, there is a path for the current to flow through this capacitor current IC. So when Tm on and auxiliary current flow through the path C, Tm, L, D, and it is given by. So C, what is the path for the current to flow? C, Tm, L, D. That is, this current will be flowing in this path. Current will be flowing in the path shown. This is the path to current to flow. So if you want to write the expression, so simply what we do, as we earlier seen the lectures, that when LC circuit will be there with the DC excitation, then we will write the expression like this: ICT is equals to IP sine omega naught t, where IP is the peak value of capacitor current, which is denoted as Vs into root C by L sine omega naught t. Omega naught t is 1 by root LC. So if you want to calculate the peak value of current, this is the Vs root C by L. So put the values of Vs, C and L. You can calculate IP to be 325.22 amperes. This amount of peak current will be supplied by the capacitor, and it is a sinusoidal in fashion. So now we calculate the peak value of current through the Tm, that is the main thyristor. So as seen the diagram, in the first mode of conduction, when this main thyristor will be on, then already the current passing through this main thyristor is I0 is equals to I naught, because in steady state I naught is a constant one, as shown as dictated in the problem statement. So this I node is already flowing. Now this capacitor current will be flowing through this main thyristor. So both the currents are added. So we can say that the peak value of current flowing through the main thyristor will be given as I naught plus IP. So it is given as IP plus I naught. So put the value of IP from the above part A, and I naught is given 120 amperes. So the peak value of current through the main thyristor calculated to be 445.22 amperes. Now we calculate the peak value of current through the auxiliary thyristors. So what is the auxiliary thyristor? TA. So when this main thyristor will be in off condition, the path for the current to flow through the auxiliary thyristor will be like this. It will be flowing from this capacitor TA, and it will be going like this, and it passes through the load and again come back to the supply side. So this, according to this, the current to be flowing through the auxiliary thyristor will be I naught, which is flowing through the load side. because this main thyristor will be in off condition, so no capacitor current will be flowing through this auxiliary thyristor, and the path for the current to flow like when capacitor reverses polarity, this auxiliary thyristor will be in on condition, and the I naught amount of current, which is peak value of current flowing through the auxiliary thyristor. So peak value of current to the auxiliary thyristor to be I naught. So I naught is given in the problem 120 ampere. So this is the answer for peak value of current through the auxiliary thyristor. See the second part of this problem. What we have to find circuit turn of time for main and auxiliary thyristors. So circuit turn of time for the main thyristor, that is TCM, and it is the time required for VTM, that is the voltage across the main thyristor, or VC, that is the capacitor voltage, to change linearly from minus Vs to 0. See in the waveforms of class D commutation, you can easily understand what I want to say. This is the voltage waveform of the main thyristor. So at t is equals to 0, our main thyristor will be in on condition, so it is short circuited, ideal one, so no voltage drop across it. And after when at t is equals to t on time, auxiliary thyristor will be on, then voltage across the main thyristor will be in minus Vh, which is the reverse biased voltage. So up to this time, the voltage across the main thyristor will be in reverse bias condition. This amount of voltage will be applied across the main thyristor for the time duration of TCM, that is circuit turn of time for the main thyristor. So TCM we have to calculate, and see what is the TCM. It is minus Vs to 0, or in capacitor waveform if you want to see, then it is the capacitor waveform in which minus Vs to 0, this linearly. So the time required for minus Vs to 0 linearly, this is the TCM. We have to calculate TCM, and this is the TCA amount. This is the circuit turn of time the auxiliary thyristor, which will be half of this pi root LC, because this is the duration of pi root LC, and if you want to find TCA, then half of the pi root LC, then it will be given the this will be TCA, that is circuit turn of time the auxiliary thyristor. So now we calculate the circuit turn of time. So circuit turn of time is given as C into Vs divided by I naught. You can calculate because I is equals to C dV by dt. So by this formula, you can easily calculate the TCM, that is circuit turn of time, and Vs is basically a reverse voltage applies across the thyristor. So if we write Vs here, this amount of reverse voltage applied across the thyristors to make in the reverse bias condition. So C Vs divided by I naught, and I naught is the current flowing. And if you want to put this values 40 microfarad and 230 volt for the Vs, and I naught to be 140, then 76.67 microsecond. It is a circuit turn of time the auxiliary thyristor, and Tm conducts when upper plate of the C is positive, that is VTA is equals to minus Vc. So in the circuit configuration, when upper plate of the capacitor is positive, which will make the main thyristor to be in on condition by plus minus polarity, and if and after that at the end of the cycle we this is a reverse bias condition, means capacitor voltage polarity will be reversed. So VTA to be minus Vc, in the I want to say that this amount of reverse voltage is applied across the auxiliary thyristor, because Tm will be on condition, so obviously Ta will be in reverse bias condition, one thyristor will be on at a time. So VTA to be minus Vc, this amount of voltage will be applied for the auxiliary thyristor to make in the reverse bias condition, or auxiliary thyristor reverse biased by Vc amount of voltage. Vc is already we assume Vs, that is a full DC bus voltage. So now we calculate TCA circuit turn of time of the auxiliary thyristor pi upon 2 omega naught, because we know, and as given as shown in the waveforms, if we have the time period of pi root LC, because omega naught t is equals to pi, then t is equals to pi by omega naught, and pi by omega naught is the time period up to pi duration pi root LC. So this is a pi root LC time, because omega naught equal to 1 upon root LC. If we put omega naught equals to 1 upon root LC, then but we have to half the time period as shown in the figure. Now we can further see the waveform part. So if we want to calculate the TCA, then this amount of see in the from starting uh, up to 0 to pi duration, because it is a sine function, so pi sine will be 0, so pi root LC amount of time will be there. And if you want to find the TCA, then half the pi root LC divided by 2. So simply do the pi root LC divided by 2 to find the auxiliary thyristor circuit turn-off time. So we have the pi root LC divided by 2 and we put the value of 3.14 pi, and root L and C values if we put here, then we will calculate the TCA circuit turn-off time of the auxiliary thyristor to be 44.43 microsecond. So in this way the questions will be asked from the class D commutation. So in the earlier lecture we start with a new fresh topic, that is a gate triggering circuits for the thyristor. Thank you for listening.